Some of the theories that we're also based on is information theory, communication theory. Field theory is one that's really important. Field theory says that everything in the world has everything in the universe has a field. A field is a sphere of influence. So if you think about a magnet has a magnetic field. Well, the magnetic field is the distance from the magnet that the magnet actually has an effect. Everything has a field, not a magnetic field necessarily, but it has an influence or a sphere of influence. And some things have huge fields and some things have very small fields. You have a field, I have a field, the Pope has a field, the President of the United States has a field. All those fields are different sizes and influence different things. Well, the English language has a field. The German language has a field. There is a place in the universe, well, which is everywhere, but there's a place where all these fields intersect, and it's called the ZeroPoint Field. In theory, then, you and I and everyone else are connected to everything else. And my field, my sphere of influence, will impact the universe in a very real way. If I change my position in the field, and I call that my energy posture. So if I change my energetic posture, the universe will accommodate that change and it will actually make a shift everywhere else. So when Gandhi said you should be the change you want to see in the world, this is really what he was talking about. If I want to change the universe, I change myself, because the universe will then accommodate me. Now, this place where all fields intersect has been called the ZeroPoint Field. One of the reasons it's called that is because everything in that field sums to zero. Now, that doesn't mean that if you add it all up, it equals nothing. What it means is if you add it all up, everything balances everything else. And so if my energetic posture shifts, the universe, because it's a zero-point equation, everything in the universe adjusts so that everything else stays in balance. So I can impact the universe just by changing myself. So how does this field theory apply in terms of ZYTO technology? I think I can explain that easiest by showing you this. You'll recognize this as an apple. And when I show it to you, I actually am communicating information to you. I'm introducing you to a concept that we call an apple. Now, the apple is actually a physical item. We know that. But the concept of apple can be communicated in several ways. I can give you this, which is a physical example of what I'm talking about. I could show you a picture and it would communicate the same information to you. I could write the word apple on a piece of paper and show that to you. I could speak the word apple, or I could speak the word apple in several languages. And if you understood those languages, you would get the concept that I am thinking about in my mind when I want to introduce this information to you. There are ways that you can take an apple and represent it in digital form, and then use the computer to communicate the concept as opposed to some kind of a conscious interface. What allows that to happen is another theory, a theory called entanglement. And entanglement says that everything is entangled. And I guess technically what it means is if you have a cluster of atoms and you separate them and you do something to this cluster will react at the same time in the same way this does. It's usually done by a laser. So they'll take experimentally, they'll take a group of atoms, split them in half, take these atoms halfway around the world, and when they shine a laser on these atoms, in this laboratory, the atoms that are halfway around the world get excited. And Einstein called that spooky action at a distance. Well, we apply that same theory in a little bit different way, where we take the physical apple, We have a proprietary way that we then create a digital representation of the apple. We link the two together. Once we've created this association or this link between a physical item and the digital code, we then use the digital code to generate a stimulus, and it's an information stimulus. We communicate that to the person who is being scanned using ZYTO technology, and we look for the response that's created by that stimulus. It's that process of asking a question essentially and getting an answer that we call biocommunication. What we're looking at isn't a physical response, a conscious response. We're looking at a physical response that's controlled by the autonomic nervous system. So we're looking at a change in the energy flow in the body. Just like Vol would look for changes in the electrical conductivity at a particular acupuncture point, we're looking for changes not at the acupuncture point level, but in the energy level that was discovered 5,000 years ago in China. So again, we've taken this history, we've taken these ideas that have come to us through time, and we've pulled them together to create this concept of biocommunication that we use with ZYTO technology.